One of the most common questions that we get asked is what is the best style or what is the best technique in order to install the metallic epoxy? The two most common ways are to pour the epoxy on the floor, squeegee it and back roll it, or to pour the epoxy on the floor and just use a magic trowel to squeegee it. In this video, we're going to show you both of those techniques side by side. So as we mentioned in the intro, in this video we're going to demonstrate a two-color Designer Metallic Epoxy combination, but we're going to demonstrate the two most popular styles of installation. One is going to be squeegeeing and back rolling, and the other one is going to be just using the magic trowel to create the look that we're going after. And then at the end we're going to do a side-by-side comparison, so then you can make the decision as to what style is right for you. But as always, we've mixed up our A and our B components with our metallic pigment, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pour it in ribbons all over the floor randomly. This color here that we're putting down now is brass. And we've already determined that it'll take one bucket for this space that we're doing here today. We went ahead and pre-mixed all of our pigment, so that way when we were ready we just had to add the B part into it. And we'll go ahead and pour this randomly all over the floor. So that's it. We've gone ahead and poured out our brass and ribbons. Here's a pro tip. You might want to turn the bucket upside down and leave it on the floor like that so that everything can drain out of it. You do not want to do that. That's going to allow any little bits of unmixed resin at the bottom of the bucket to get out onto the floor, and it will not harden. So we can turn the bucket over, get out as much as we can, hold it like this for a few seconds, but then we're going to discard the bucket and not allow it to drain out on the floor. Let's go ahead and get our second color. So here's our second color that we're using. This is sky blue. And again, we're going to pour it out just in the same fashion that we did with our brass. All right, so we mentioned that we're going to demonstrate two different styles of application technique. Regardless of the choice that you use or the application technique that you use, you're going to need to blend the colors together with the squeegee. So we'll go ahead and start to do that. This magic trowel is an excellent tool for blending the epoxy. So we're not really putting any pressure on the squeegee, we're letting the squeegee do all of the work. Of course, what helps the epoxy to spread real nice is keeping it at a good temperature. So we stored it and let it acclimate between about 68 and 72 degrees before we started to use it. So that's going to allow this to spread real nice and to level real nice. Now on this side of this floor, this is the side that we're not going to back roll. So we're going to make sure that we get right up to the edges with the magic trowel, and this blade is real thin and designed real nice. That allows us to get right up to the edge of the wall. That way we don't have to pass any type of an edge roller in order to get it right up against the wall. All right, so that's all there is to squeegeeing. Now we've got the epoxy squeegeed out on the floor, and we're gonna get our roller and we're gonna roll half of it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use our 18-inch roller, and we're gonna roll this half of the floor. So you can see we're rolling it just at a moderate pace. Another pro tip, you want to use an 18-inch 3/8 shed-free or shed-resistant roller, and we strongly recommend an 18-inch roller. It's the professional way to do these floors. It's so much quicker, and it applies the epoxy so much more evenly. With these 18-inch rollers, you can really cover a lot of ground quickly. All right, so we're back over on this side here where we're only going to use the magic trowel. This epoxy has set for probably about 10 minutes now. And we're going to go back over it, and just in a random fashion, we're going to drag our magic trowel back through it. And we're looking for a real organic type pattern. So we're going to change up our direction. We're going to change up the size of the arcs that we do. And these two colors are looking really nice together. All right, so here we've got our Designer Metallic Epoxy. This is brass and sky blue. And we basically cut this floor in half. On this side, we only used the magic trowel to spread it. Then we came back and we blended it some more with the magic trowel. Over on this side, we used the magic trowel to spread it, but then we used an 18-inch roller and rolled the floor in two different directions. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the alcohol spray over top of the entire floor. So again, we got it in our spray bottle, and there's various techniques that you can use for this. But we're just randomly spraying it out, and you can see the effect that it's creating. close-up shot of the effect that you get with the alcohol. We waited here about 30 minutes or so, and you can see it's got this really nice hammered type look to it. So we'll continue on with our spray bottle, and we'll go ahead and do the rest of the floor. So the question when we started this video was, what is the best way to install a Designer Metallic Epoxy floor? Should we only use a magic trowel squeegee to squeegee the epoxy, or should we also back roll the epoxy? Well, let's let what you see here on this floor answer that question for you. Now, of course, you remember that we mixed up our two colors, which was sky blue and our brass Designer Metallic Epoxy, and we went ahead and we poured them out in ribbons on the floor exactly the same. What's the difference? On this half, we only used our magic trowel squeegee to move the epoxy around. So you remember that we went ahead and we squeegeed it back and forth to cover the floor, but after it set for about 10 minutes, we came back and we used the magic trowel squeegee again in a very organic type motion. And you can see that what it has done here, it has allowed more definition of the colors. You can see more separation of the colors. There's larger areas of the sky blue and of the brass, a much more organic type feel with the color standing out just a little bit more than over on this side, where we went ahead after squeegeeing it the first time with our magic trowel. We went ahead and we rolled out this epoxy 2 different times, once going north and south, once going east and west. Again, we did that about 10 minutes or so after the epoxy had been poured. And you can see here that the colors are a little bit more blended over on this side. The roller has blended them together. There's not as much separation or not as much definition in the 2 different colors. So while this way might be a little bit faster in rolling it with the 18-inch roller, this way was very easy. It was quick as well, but you can definitely see that they provide 2 different looks based on the technique that's been used. So we hope that helps you in deciding which technique you're going to use for your floor. Check out our website at epoxyplus.com. We have a lot of videos there with a lot of instruction. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification button so that you don't miss the next video that we put out that has a lot of different tips, tricks, and techniques that will make your metallic epoxy floor a success.